assistant professor in petroleum engineering department and the coordinator of the Order of Engineer. It is my privilege on behalf of the National Board of Governors of the Order of Engineer to welcome you all to this ceremony. Other members of the Order who are assisting in this ceremony are Dr. George Nana, Professor of Mechanical Engineering and Dean of the College of Engineering. Dr. Ramiro Bravo, Professor of Mechanical Engineering. Dr. Forrest Flocker, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering and Chair of the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Dr. Mohsen Jamali, Professor of Electrical Engineering and the Chair. Dr. Zin Zeng, Associate Professor of Petroleum Engineering. Before we begin the ceremony, it is my honor to introduce Dr. George Nana, who would like to offer a few words of congratulations to the inductees. Dean Nana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Al-Zahabi. Thank you for coordinating this ceremony. I would like to congratulate our students and also the parents for being able to reach this milestone. So give yourself a round of applause. I know for many of you, students and parents alike, this has been a long journey. And this is a day that you have been looking forward to. And that day has come when we will initiate you into this Order of Engineers. But I would like to say a few words about the college that you will be leaving and that we will be networking with you with. Our faculty have worked with you in providing quality education. That education doesn't stop there. It is a lifelong learning that we hope that you will continue to use to inspire and to change the world. You are receiving your degree at a very unique time in history, globally. The world have not known anything such as COVID. During your time and during this period, the world have learned about global pandemic, COVID. But I hope that this COVID, no matter how bad it has been, has provided an opportunity for us to learn and to grow together as engineers and as members of the human society. I'm going to say a few words that will begin with I. Those are 3 I's. Innovation. The knowledge that you have gained right from the basic math and physics that we provided to you, to engineering, application of those math and science to solve practical engineering problems. I hope that we have prepared you enough that as you graduate, that you will use those to make innovation, to change things in the world for the betterment of mankind. Impact. Another I. That your work in society will make an impact. To impact those around you, your family, your friends, and those that will depend on you. If you see someone that needs help to design a wheelchair and you know how to do it, don't hesitate to do so. That's the job of engineers. Improvement. To improve the society around us. We live in a time where through engineering, we may be producing products that may be impacting society negatively. If you have an opportunity to improve the well-being of those that are around you, or to improve the environment, and to make life better, please do so. Hold the door for somebody that is coming after you, so that somebody else may hold the door for them. So that's what we do as engineers. If you look around you here, everything that you see is engineering. From the seat that you're sitting on, to the air that you breathe. We air condition the air and we heat up the air. To the clothing that you're wearing, Even your makeups is engineering. Your glasses is engineering. So engineers have a significant impact to play in society. So I want to congratulate you once again, and we look forward for you to being Falcon forever. Thank you so much.
Dr. Jamali will now present the history of the order.
History of the order. This ceremony presents an opportunity for us to take a pledge and to recall that the professional purpose of engineering involves the pursuit of a learned art in the spirit of public service. By following the acceptance of the obligation, the individual engineer reinforces similar efforts of his or her peers, realizing that in unity there is strength. Decades ago, our engineering counterparts in Canada had the same feeling. They believed that the need existed for the introduction of a spirit of brotherhood and cohesiveness among engineers. The Canadians believed that a good way to achieve this purpose would be to instill in engineers a consciousness of belonging to one another, to themselves as individuals, and to those whom they serve. Thus, in Canada, in 1926, was born what is now known as the Ritual of the Calling of an Engineer. The words of the ritual were written by the English author Rudyard Kipling, who had much depth of feeling for engineers and the builders of things intended to benefit mankind. The Canadian ceremony is dignified, impressive, and includes the placing of a wrought iron ring on the small finger of the individual's working hand, and then having them repeat in concert the words of Kipling. It is difficult to visualize any better symbolism than that of a ring worn for all to see, and saying in effect that here is an engineer dedicated to a publicly allowed obligation to the profession and to those it serves. In Ohio, similar ideals to those written by Kipling were well established, and correspondence began in October 1953 between the Canadian wardens responsible for the administration of the calling of an engineer and Office of the Ohio Society of Professional Engineers, with a view to possibly extending the Canadian ceremony to the United States. Due to copyright and other conflicting factors, extension of the ritual into this country was not possible. In 1966, a group of engineers in Ohio, with members of several engineering organizations, began to pursue the objective of what came to be called the Order of the Engineer. While the deliberations of this group were in progress, seniors of Fenn College of Engineering of Cleveland State University, counseled by Dean Bird Bush, designed and held a ring ceremony and the reception on June 4, 1970. Each participant signed a creed and received a plain stainless steel ring placed on the small finger of his or her working hand. 170 engineering seniors and engineering faculty members took part in this first ceremony. Since then, the movement has spread rapidly throughout the states. Such is the story of an increasing acceptance of the Order of the Engineer, as is known in the United States today. It is patterned on the Canadian concept, but with the stainless steel ring symbolizing strength and unity of the profession and providing an identified mark of an engineer. I would like to ask Dr. Zeng to describe to you the significance of the obligation and engineer's ring. Dr. Zeng.
Thank you, Dr. Jamali. Thank you, Dr. Al-Zahabi. Significance of the order. Candidates for the order, guests, and friends. The order of engineer to which you will soon belong is an independent organization. The purpose is to foster a feeling of pride in and dedication to the profession which binds us all together. You are asked to accept with pride the meaning of ceremony to which you are about to subscribe. The obligation should be freely given and the responsibility gladly accepted. The order is symbolized by the acceptance of an obligation and the wearing of a stainless steel ring on the little finger of the working hand. The obligation is the formal statement of an engineer's responsibilities to the public and to the profession. It is a creed similar to the oath attributed to Hippocrates that is commonly taken by medical graduates and which sets forth an ethical code. The obligation likewise contains part of the canon of ethics of major engineering societies. Initiates as they vulnerably accept it, preach to uphold the standards and dignity of the engineering profession and to serve humanity by making the best use of Earth's precious and limited resources. So this would be one true to us over here. The obligation emphasizes the fact that we as engineers have certain obligations. It promotes honesty and integrity and recognizes that today's engineers are dependent on their professors for their skills.
Dr. Bravo will now present the significance of the ring.
The ring, a symbol of pride, prestige, honor, and professionalism among all engineers in the United States, also serves as a reminder to the engineer of our obligation to society. The symbol of your desire to serve the public is the engineer's ring. The ring you will wear on the small finger of the working hand will say to all who see it, here is an engineer, possessed of about a dedication to the profession and the public they serve. It is our symbol. Wear it for all to see. It is a badge of recognition which will become known to all as the sign of a learned professional, pledged to making the best use of Earth's precious and limited resources.
Dr. Flocker will now administer the acceptance of the obligation.
Will all the candidates and current members of the Order of the Engineer please stand? Candidates, the Order of the Engineer is an independent movement. The purpose is to foster a feeling of pride in and dedication to our profession. Your membership in the Order is symbolized by the acceptance of an obligation and the wearing of the stainless steel ring on the little finger of the working hand. There are no meetings other than this ceremony, and there are no dues. We will now recite in unison the obligation found on the back of the program. I am an engineer. In my profession, I take deep pride. I owe it solemn obligations.
I am an engineer in my profession. I take deep pride.
As an engineer, I pledge to practice integrity and fair dealing, tolerance and respect, and to uphold devotion to the standards and the dignity of my profession, conscious always that my skill carries with it the obligation to serve humanity by making the best use of Earth's precious wealth.
As an engineer, I wish to practice integrity and fair dealing, and to protect and to uphold devotion to the standards and the dignity of my profession, conscious always that my skill carries with it the obligation to serve humanity.
As an engineer, I shall participate in none but honest enterprises.
As an engineer, I shall participate in none but honest enterprises.
When needed, my skill and knowledge shall be given without reservation for the public good.
When needed, my skill and knowledge shall be given without reservation for the public good.
In the performance of my duty and in fidelity to my profession, I shall give my utmost.
In the performance of my duty and fidelity to my profession, I shall give my utmost.
Now, in the presence of your fellow engineers, you will be called forward to come to the right of the stage, sign your certificate as an indication of your acceptance of the obligation of the Order of the Engineer. You will then place your working hand through the ceremonial ring, receive your ring as an outward sign of your profession. Dean Nana, will you please present the rings to the candidates as they are called. Justin Miller. Ivan Barrientos. Freddy Contreras. Joshua Romero. Cynthia Juarez. Chandrika Jackson. Jake Elger. Alan Delado. Cesar Macias. Samuel Oljidi. David Carrillo Sains. Daniel Jimenez. Taylor Rhodes. Monica Driscoll. Donald Akers. Daniel Rivera. Elizabeth Souza. Dr. Al-Zahabi will now give some concluding remarks.
Gabriel.
Gabriel Leo.
That's for us, that's for us.
I welcome each of you to the privileges and the obligations of the Order of Engineer. This rank is a reminder of our calling. Your certificate is your creed. It bears your name and signature. It is your pact with profession. Read it thoughtfully, regard it with humility, wear your rank proudly and with distinction, for you are an engineer. I ask the audience to join me in congratulating the newest members of the Order of Engineers. This concludes the Order of Engineering ceremony. Everyone is invited to attend an informal reception for the newest member of the Order of Engineers just outside in the lobby. Thank you so much for participating.
Sorry,